Let me just say this right here. As a Mario fan, I am so glad that this movie is doing so well in the box office, because this really goes to show you that video game adaptations are about to level up. They are about to take over in the industry, because there's not that many good action films nowadays, except for the ones in the 80s and 90s that were more watchable than the ones you have today. I mean, there are some good films out here today that are pretty cool, but what they're missing is that good spark in terms of making great action films and all of that. When it comes to the Super Mario franchise, the original version from '93 was a big turnoff, and I can see why Nintendo wanted to leave that crap in the past, as they should. I mean, even Capcom are doing the same thing with the Street Fighter reboot. They're now leaving the one from 1994 in the past as well. And the funny story about it is that the 1994 movie is actually on Tubi, which is ironic. So it says the Super Mario Bros. Movie goes bonkers with 368 million projected through Sunday WW something, includes 117 million from overseas international box office. Wow. They are doing some serious big numbers right now, and I'm really excited for the future of the video game movie franchise. I hope they keep this up. This might be their first start of the Super Mario Bros. Movie franchise. Heck, you never know when they might turn Ninja Gaiden into a franchise, and I would love for them to do. Because before you know it, Ninja Gaiden was like an arcade game before it ported into the Nintendo system, and it became their franchise ever since. So I would love for them to actually make a Ninja Gaiden film, because he is a part of Nintendo as well. So let's get to it. Illumination, Nintendo, Universal's The Super Mario Bros. Movie is plumb insane, with projected 5-day global opening of 368 million. That gives the Bros bragging rights to the biggest ever worldwide debut for an animated title. Currently, the international box office portion of that is estimated at 173 million from 70 markets. Woo! Okay, that is a lot of money. And when I say that they're actually about to take over the industry, they're already doing so, because it's like Sega with Sonic franchise, Nintendo's Super Mario franchise. Both companies are like doing it big right now in terms of entertainment and content goes. Never mind the games, like we're talking about movies that we're actually a big fans of. And like I said, a lot of this good positive stuff makes me excited to watch this film myself. You know, when I might do a review of it. It might be today or it might be tomorrow, but at the same time, I'm pretty much excited for this franchise, and I hope to God they keep up with this momentum. So as they go forward, let's continue. This is the biggest animated opening of all time globally, ahead of Frozen 2, and clearly best for this year so far, as well as Illumination's top debut ever, passing Minions and Despicable Me 3 in like-for-like opening markets, and Despicable Me 2, the previous biggest reported global weekend, at 208 million. Good God Almighty. And like I said, comes to the video game movies, I can care less what the critics think. It's all about what the fans think. And according to that website, the audience pretty much fell in love with the Super Mario Bros. Movies. Even though it's for the kids, so that should basically tell you something. When you do a video game adaptation, if it's done right, then they deserve to get as high praise. If they give it a green light, they might come out with a sequel, which I highly doubt they will, but I'm hoping they will. But at the same time, I would love for them to actually do a Ninja Gaiden movie. That is the one thing I would love to see come to light. What's more, with this debut of the Mario Bros., Illumination crosses 5 billion in international box office across 13 films and 8.45 billion worldwide. In like-for-like markets at today's dollars, and including previews, The International Mario Bros. Opening is the biggest Illumination opening of all time, the biggest animation opening of all time, when excluding China, and the number 2 biggest animated star ever for Hollywood, when including China, just 13% behind Frozen 2. Woo! Dang. Now, for one thing, I don't really care about the Frozen franchise because I just don't really care about it. I'm familiar with it. I've seen people make memes of it, but at the same time, I just don't really care that much about Frozen, to be honest with you. I mean, that really goes to show you that the next level of animation movie done right, they're gonna step over the one that came before it, and they're gonna go up top and become even a bigger success. Because like I said, much like how Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2 from Sega did, right now Super Mario Bros. Are doing exactly just that. More milestones. Sure, the biggest video game opening of all time, passing Warcraft at 210 million reported in like-for-like markets. And number 4 biggest Universal Day and date global opening of all time, behind Fast and Furious 8 at 543 million, Jurassic World at 525 million, and Fast and Furious 7 at 398 million. Overseas, this is the biggest opening of 2023, ahead of Ant-Man Quantumania at 117.1 million. The number 2 biggest animated opening of all time, behind Frozen 2 at 228.2 million. Illumination's best start ever at number 4 biggest Universal Day and date opening of all time, behind Fast and Furious 8 at 444 million. Jurassic World at 317 million, and Fast and Furious 7 at 250 million. You know, when it comes to the industry, you want to make sure that you put out the best films out there for the fans to love and appreciate. And that's exactly what I'm seeing from this article, from the entertainment industry, when it comes to the Super Mario Bros., Sonic, Fast and Furious, Frozen 2, Despicable 2 and 3, or whichever animated movie that come out. You know they're gonna do big numbers like crazy. But if it ends up turning terrible, like everybody else is saying, that they've seen it from their own eyes, then it's obvious to me that they've done something wrong. Unless you fix and step up your game, then you have nothing to worry about, basically. So it's the fact that they're actually making most of the money since its debut, because usually it could take them about a week or a month or two to actually get to that level, especially if you make a great film. So this is interesting. Friday update, the Super Mario Bros. Movie continue is plunging into international box office markets on Thursday with added 27.6 million, lifting offshores come to 62.5 million, including Dominic's first 2 days. The worldwide total is 120.7 million. This portends an overseas debut of 160 million and a global start over 300 million. Bow wowzers. Bow wowzers. Okay, that part sounds pretty funny though. Like, I know they're actually pretty happy and are very stoked of the results of their movie, their very first reboot film done right. And according to the fans, they all had a good time with it. So I might go check it out myself when I get off church. So this is cool. This is cool. Leading place so far is Mexico with 11.4 million, higher than the full opening weekend of any April animation, while also topping the full openings of Frozen 2, Aladdin, and Finding Dory. UK and Ireland deliver another record-breaking day on Thursday with 3.8 million from 2,500 screens. Jesus Christ. That's a lot. That's a lot. The biggest Thursday box office for an animated title ever, and second biggest Thursday ever for a Universal title, behind only No Time to Die. The two-day come is 8.6 million, which is above the entire 3-day opening weekends for Sing 2, Sing Aladdin, Sing to Sing, Aladdin, HTTYD3, I don't know what that says, Sonic 2, and Frozen. Okay, so this is where China comes into play. China reached 5.3 million on Thursday. Scores are good, but the market is soft for Hollywood, particularly versus competitions. Germany's strong start continues on Thursday, reaching 5.2 million, higher than any April animated or family films full opening weekends, and topping the 4-day weekends of Frozen, The Jungle Book, Minions, Rise of Gru, and Incredibles 2. I didn't think they came out with an Incredibles 2. I don't know when that came out though. Maybe it's just me, but I might check it out. I sometimes feel like, as a movie lover, the only thing you want to do is hope for the best that this franchise gets off its rockets. Because when it comes to the Mario franchise, in the 90s, it was terrible. It went nowhere, so they just left that crap behind for a long time until Nintendo just sit back and say, you know what? Sonic is doing good. Why not make a Mario reboot? And boy, did they prove everybody wrong just now. Critics, YouTube reviewers, and trust me when I say this, when I see this movie, I'm going to do an ultimate review of it, let you know my final thoughts on it as well, like I've always do in my previous reviews all the time. So let's continue. Okay, so this is Spain. Spain delivered another 1.8 million from over 1,000 screens on Thursday, with 60% market shares. School holidays are in effect in the majority of the country, and the running total has now reached 4 million ahead of Friday's standard release date. Mario's 2-day is already above the full 3-day weekends of Incredibles 2, Minions, Rise of Gru, Toy Story 4, and Finding Day. And also beating comps are France, 2.7 million, Central America, 2.7 million, Italy, 2.6 million, Australia, 2.3 million, and Brazil at 1.8 million. The Thursday gross was the third biggest opening day of all time for an animated. Thursday gross was the third biggest opening day of all time for an animation. The biggest of Illumination and Universal, the biggest for any April animation, and the biggest for and the biggest for a video game adaptation. With numbers now in for 44 overseas markets that opened on Wednesday, Illumination, Nintendo, and Universal's The Super Mario Bros. Movie had a more than PG debut with 34.7 million through yesterday at the international box office. Combined with Wednesday's Dominic Bow, the global one-day total is 66.4. Several milestones records were set in markets around the world on opening day. And overall, when comparing Super Mario to standard opening days, it had the top animated launch day ever in 11 markets, including Germany, Spain, Argentina, Central America, and Austria. Directed film will clearly be well over early projections of 100 million internationally through Sunday. So this is Mexico right here. Mexico late play on Wednesday with 5.9 million, the biggest debut for a Universal title. Mario late play on Wednesday with 5.9 million, the biggest debut of Universal title ever, and the second biggest animation opening day of all time behind Toy Story 4. Okay, the UK grossed 4.8 million, the best animated opening day ever, the biggest overall 2023 and Universal top Wednesday of all time, ahead of both Fast and No Time to Die. Next up is China. China delivered 4.7 million on Wednesday versus the 4.95 million estimate from yesterday. See below. The come through Thursday is 5.4 million, which is not reflected in the above totals. Still, Mario set the biggest opening day for a Hollywood animation since the start of the pandemic in 2020, as well as the second biggest opening day for a studio title in 2023. It's 9.4 score, or Mayuan's, I can't pronounce his name, the best for an animated Hollywood title across past 5 years. And I agree with that, because when it comes to animated films, they sometimes do better than live action. It depends on how they make it. It depends on how they produce the film. Germany grossed 2.8 million on Wednesday for a Uni's best opening day of all time and hit the same milestone for an animated title. It's also the best opening day since 2019's Star Wars Rise of Skywalker in the market, and the second biggest April opening day behind only Avengers Endgame. In Spain, the Super Mario Bros. Plunge with 2.2 million Wednesday, the biggest animation opening day ever in terms of. In Spain, the Super Mario Bros. Plunged with a 2.2 million Wednesday, with the biggest animation opening day ever in terms of admissions. The result overtakes Avatar: The Way of Water and Doctor Strange 2 to become the biggest opening day since the start of the pandemic, as well as the biggest April opening day ever, number 2 in the box office behind Avengers Endgame. So I'm gonna end this off, and I really appreciate y'all for reading along with me. This is really interesting because I'm glad that this Super Mario franchise is doing way better, and I cannot wait to see what else Nintendo has in stores for us. The original article will be in the description. Shout outs to all the Nintendo fans out there. Love y'all. Peace out.